What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. If you're watching, thank you. Today we're talking about camera basics. If you're buying a camera and want to get started, this video is for you. So the three things we're going to talk about today are your shutter speed, your f-stop, and your ISO. With these three things, this allows you to get that perfect picture that you guys are looking for. So the first thing is your shutter speed. What the shutter speed is how fast the sensor inside your camera opens and closes. So with a fast shutter speed, your sensor opens up and closes really fast, but with a slower shutter speed, your sensor will open and close at a slower rate. Now, different scenarios you would use this in is at a basketball game, for example. So what you would do is you would bring your shutter speed higher. Basically, you would call it fast. You would have a fast shutter speed so your sensor could open and close really fast, freezing the motion of the player. But if you had a slower shutter speed, the sensor inside your camera would open and close slower, allowing the player to move while the sensor is open, causing blurriness. For example, as you can see, my little brother shooting a basketball. As you can see, he's in the air and there's no blurriness in the picture. That is because I have a fast shutter speed. But if I had a slower shutter speed and I take a picture again, you could see how he's blurry just because the sensor is opening and closing at a slower rate. So if you guys ever at an event or a sports event and you guys want to stop all that motion, the dancing, the shooting of the basketball, you guys will have a fast shutter speed. The next thing we want to talk about is your f-stop. What your f-stop is basically how blurry your background is. So if you have an f-stop at about 2.8 and lower, you will get a blurrier background. For example, here I have a picture of my little brother and the f-stop is at 1.8, and as you can see, the background is very blurry, and that's how you get that effect. But if you had your f-stop at about 16, as you can see, the background is more in focus. But with the f-stop at a lower stop, you can see how the subject becomes more clear and visible just because the blurriness puts that separation between the background and the subject, causing that effect. Oh my gosh. Did y'all think I was gonna go through a whole video without drinking water? I could never. Next thing we're going to talk about is ISO. Basically what ISO is, it's fake light that your camera uses to bring more light into your picture. So suppose you have your f-stop at 1.8 and your shutter speed is getting lower to the point where your picture is blurry so you can't move it down any lower. The next thing you would do is bring your ISO up. So basically, if you have an ISO of 100, that's the darkest it can get. That's mainly for if you're outside with harsh sunlight, you would put in at 100 or in other circumstances. But if you are basically at your last limit with your f-stop at 1.8, your shutter speed is getting too slow, what you would do is you would bring your ISO up to about 200 or 400. Now me personally, I usually stop at 400 just because once I reach 800, I do start to get grain into my pictures and I do not like that. So that's what I use. So I usually just keep it at 400 and that's about it. But basically, as you can see, if I take a picture of this and my shutter speed is basically at the point where it's getting too slow, so I have to bring my ISO up. I'm bringing my ISO up to 200. As you can see, it's getting brighter, 400 even brighter, 800 and 16 and so on and so on. As you can see, the grain starts to come in, and that's what basically it is, just fake light, just to bring in more light to your picture when you can't anymore. So guys, that's basically it for camera basics. If you master these three things, you will get better at photography. Just keep practicing. Know these things like second nature. So if you look at a picture, you can know what to change instantly. That will extremely increase your workflow, make you more efficient and way better at photography, guys. So just keep practicing that. And if you guys like today's video, please give a thumbs up, like, leave a comment down below on videos you'd like to see in the future. And as always, I'm out. Anyways, guys, subscribe to my video.